Go check your fridge right now. If that tomato is going into a slow-cooked sauce tonight, I can already tell you it's going to come out thin and watery. Not because you did anything wrong, because you grabbed the wrong tomato. One ingredient, front and center, and this one might be the most misunderstood ingredient in the entire culinary world, the tomato. Chances are you already own 3 or 4 of these varieties without knowing what any of them are actually built for. The beefsteak is the big one, the kind that takes over a whole slice of bread by itself. Huge, meaty, packed with water, mild in flavor, thick slices, minimal cooking, a sandwich's best friend. The heirloom looks almost too pretty to eat, streaked reds, deep purples, weird ribbed shapes. Bred for flavor complexity over shelf life, which is exactly why your grocery store barely stocks them. Thin skin, delicate flesh, incredible raw flavor that falls apart the second real heat touches it. Cherry and grape tomatoes pack high sugar concentration into a tiny, thick-skinned package. That's why kids who hate tomatoes will still eat these by the handful. Beautiful, raw, beautiful roasted whole, disastrous if you're trying to build a smooth sauce. The Roma is egg-shaped, dense, noticeably less watery than the rest. A true paste tomato, bred specifically to cook down without turning into soup. The globe is the generic one, labeled just tomato at most supermarkets. Round, medium, everything. Not built to excel at any one job, built to be acceptable at all of them. Now, a few you won't find at a regular grocery store, but you'll find in almost every restaurant-style kitchen. San Marzano, a specific Italian plum variety, lower in acidity and seeds than most, the only tomato allowed in a real Neapolitan sauce. Campari, small, deeply balanced between sweet and acidic, the one professional kitchens reach for when they need something to taste incredible raw and hold up briefly on heat. Oxheart, genuinely heart-shaped, dense and almost seedless, prized for slicing because there's barely any wasted structure inside, and green tomatoes, picked deliberately unripe, firm and tart, meant for frying or pickling rather than eating raw. That's 10 varieties, 10 different jobs, and almost nobody separates them by job. They separate them by whichever one's on sale. Underneath all 10, one pattern holds. On one end, acid-forward tomatoes, Roma, San Marzano, your paste varieties, low water content, dense flesh, built to collapse into a sauce instead of fighting you the whole way there. On the other end, sugar-forward tomatoes, heirlooms, beefsteaks, Camparis, cherries left to ripen until they're borderline embarrassing. High water content, delicate flesh, meant to be eaten raw, not cooked down. Grab a beautiful heirloom for a slow-cooked sauce, and it comes out watery and thin. Grab a dense Roma for a raw salad, and it tastes like nothing at all. You're not bad at cooking, you just grabbed the wrong end of the spectrum for the job in front of you. I have chosen Dish for Our Cook because it shows you both ends at once. A slow-roasted San Marzano sauce, finished with a raw heirloom tomato salad right on top. Same ingredient, 2 completely different treatments, same plate. Halve the San Marzanos, toss them in olive oil, a little salt, and whole garlic cloves still in their skins. Roast low, 300 degrees, for about 90 minutes, until they've collapsed and started to caramelize at the edges. Don't rush this part. The caramelization is where the sugar these tomatoes don't naturally have starts to develop. Once they're done, squeeze the garlic straight out of its skin into the pan, mash everything together with a fork, not a blender, you want texture, and finish with a drizzle of good olive oil and a few torn basil leaves. Slice the heirlooms thick, arrange them simply, just flaky salt and olive oil. Nothing else. Dress it too early and tomato salad turns into tomato soup, and not in a good way. Spoon the roasted sauce down as a rustic, uneven base, then lay the raw heirloom slices right on top, slightly overlapping. One bite gives you the deep, caramelized, savory side of the tomato and the bright, sweet, raw side at the same time. That contrast is the whole lesson, sitting right there on a plate. Nobody teaches you this part in culinary school. If your tomato sauce ever tastes flat, not bad, just flat, missing something you can't quite name. The fix is almost never more salt. It's a tiny splash of vinegar, not enough to taste directly, just enough to lift the whole thing. Acid doesn't make food taste sour when you use it right. It makes food taste like itself, just louder. Half a teaspoon of red wine vinegar in that sauce will make every other flavor in the pan suddenly make sense. That one trick alone fixes more sauces than any amount of extra salt, sugar, or butter ever will. Chefs guard it like a secret because it sounds too simple to be real. It is real. Use it. That's the tomato. Probably the ingredient people think they understand best and actually understand least. Next time, we're doing this with an ingredient that's in almost every kitchen on earth and somehow still gets used wrong more often than the tomato does. If that vinegar trick saved one of your sauces tonight, tell me in the comments. I'll read every one of them, and it genuinely shapes what I cover next. It's never that serious, except apparently the tomato. I'll see you in the next one.